Welcome to chapter 7, which is Python fundamentals. In the last class we have learned about how to install Python, and I hope you will be able to install Python in computer as well as in Android. Okay, so today we are going to continue with this Python fundamentals. So I divided this Python fundamentals chapter into number of lectures, and this one is the first lecture. And in this lecture we are going to talk about Python fundamentals, especially the tokens. Alright, so let's start. Uh, when you say Python tokens, it is the smallest individual units in Python programming. Okay, so the first Python token that we have to learn is Python character set. What are the different characters that is uh, accepted in Python programming? Okay, any character from A to Z, whether it is a small letter or capital letter, is accepted in Python, including numbers 0 to 9 and special symbols like plus, minus, multiplication, uh, and also white spaces. When you say white space, it means space bar. And some ASCII characters are also accepted in Python. These are known as Python character sets. Okay, when you say ASCII, it is nothing but American Standard Code for Information Interchange. Okay, they are the organization looking after how to give values to different character sets. For example, A, capital letter A, needs to be represented in binary form. When you say binary form, it is number system. So they must have some number equivalent. So A is equal to 65 in ASCII value. So we call this as the ASCII value. Alright, so this is known as American Standard Code for Information Value. Like that, a small letter A is equal to 1, 2, 3. Okay, the value is equal to 1, 2, 3. Like that, if you see a textbook, there are lots of ASCII equivalent codes. Alright, now let's talk about tokens. What are tokens? Tokens are the smallest individual units in a program. They are also known as lexical units. Alright, lexical units. So Python has number of tokens like keywords, identifiers, literals, operators, punctuators, etc. These forms the fundamentals of Python. Okay, these are known as Python tokens, which we are going to study in details one by one. First of all, what is keywords? Keywords are the word having special meaning reserved by the Python programming language. For example, while writing Python programming code, sometimes you may use class, sometimes you may use return, sometimes you may use or, true, from, break. All these are the existing words in Python, and you cannot use for other purpose because they already have some special meaning. So they are known as Python keywords. So Python keywords cannot be used for other purpose except its own specific purpose, which is already existing in Python programming language. I hope it's clear. Now let's go to another one, which is known as identifiers or names. Sometimes this is also known as variable names. Okay? Identifiers are the name given to different parts of the program, such as variables, objects, class, functions, lists, dictionaries, etc. Okay? In simple terms, we can call these identifiers as the name given by the programmer. Okay, when you want to store something in Python programming, you have to create some space or inside the memory. That space needs to be named. Okay, then you have to give the name for that memory space, and it is known as identifier names or variable names. And you have to remember that Python is a case-sensitive language. When you say case-sensitive, small letter a and capital letter A can be treated differently. Okay, so case-sensitive means small letter and capital letter cannot be the same. They are different. Alright? Here are some rules for creating variable names. These rules are very, very important. Please try to memorize it and try to understand it. Okay, when creating variable names, the variable names must be known keywords. You cannot use keywords, and you cannot have space bar. For example, first space name cannot be a variable name. So if you write together, that means it is a valid variable name. For example, first uh, space name will be wrong, but if you write it together, that means this one will be accepted as variable name. Only letters, numbers, and underscore can be used as variable names. Okay, only letters, numbers, and underscores can be used as variable names. And another thing is, you cannot begin with numbers. For example, while creating variable name, if I say 1st, which means first name, if I write like this, 1st name, then this is invalid variable name. Why? Because it starts with number. If it is not starting with number, it's fine. But this variable name starts with numbers, or Python will not accept it. So you must remember these three golden rules for programming in Python. Alright? Now let's go to the next slide. The next slide is about literals. When we say literals, it is nothing but the values. Alright, the values or the, the data that are already existing. And they are fixed. Fixed in the sense that, for example, 7. 7 is a literal, and 7 is fixed to 7. 7 cannot become 6. 7 cannot become 5. So 7 will be always 7. So in that sense, it is fixed. I'm not saying that 7, the value, if the value is 7, it cannot be changed. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that 7 is always 7. So it is a constant value. Alright? Like that, capital letter A is always A. So they are constant. So they are known as literals. Alright? In Python, we have number of literals. The first literal is string. When we say string, it is a collection of letters, numbers, etc. Alright? It can be single line string as well as multi-line string. We also have integer, which are number without decimal points. Okay, number without decimal points are known as integers. Alright, so the normal number is decimal number, and we also have octal number, which have numbers starting from 0 to 7. We have hexadecimal number, which have numbers starting from 0 to 9 and A to F. Okay, all this can be represented as integer inside computer using Python programming. We also have floating point numbers. When you say floating point number, they are number with decimal points. For example, 3.7. Okay, 3.7 is one example. 3.0 is also another example of floating point number. If it is only 3, it is integer. If it is 3.0, it is floating point numbers. Alright? And in numbers, we have complex number. If you have studied mathematics, I hope you have come through this complex number. That complex number can be represented in Python programming easily in the form of a plus bz. In normal mathematics, complex number is represented using small letter I, but in this Python programming, it is represented using small letter z. Alright, And also we have literals like Boolean. Boolean means the value may be true, where T is capital, the value may be false, F is capital. These are known as Booleans. And lastly, we have special literals called none, N-O-N-E, none, N capital. Okay, all this belongs to literals. Okay, we have different types of literal. Let me repeat: string literal, numeric literal. In numeric literal, we have integer, we have floating point, we have complex number, we also have Boolean literals, and we have special literals like none. Okay, these are the different literals that we have in Python. And we also have escape sequences. Okay, when you say escape sequences, they have specific purpose. When you want to display slash, backslash, you have to write it like this. This is the escape sequences. When you want to display single quote, you have to use slash single quote. The reason is single quote is a programming code, and when you want to display that programming code, you have to do slash single quote and slash double quote slash n. Slash n means new line. When you are using slash n, the number or the letters that followed slash n will come to the next line, so it will form a new line. And slash t means horizontal tab. Okay, I hope you know tab in keyboard. So when you put slash t, the text or the numbers that follow slash t will go to the next tab. And slash v means vertical tab. Okay, you can use slash v to give vertical tab. All these things will be more clear when we use practically. Okay, we are going to use practically one by one, don't worry. Now let's go to strings in Python. Okay, strings in Python, the basic strings. When you say strings, it is a collection of letters or numbers or anything. Okay, so Python's string can be surrounded either using a single quote as well as a double quote. As you can see, str1 equal to Python, which is enclosed in double quote. This is one string. str2 is programming. This is also another string. And I'm printing slash string 1 plus string 2. So the output is this one. So we got this type of output. Alright. So I'm giving one space here so that there will be some space in between. If you are not giving space, there will be no space. If you have installed Anaconda successfully, when you search for Jupyter, Jupyter, Jupyter notebook, you'll get this one. And when you open this, you will get the Python compiler in browser like this. Then the next thing that you have to do is go to New and then click Python, and new Python file will come up with the file, no file name. The file name will be untitled. So when you click untitled, then rename notebook box will come up, and let us give the file name as chapter 1 practicas. Let us call it as chapter 1 practicas and then rename it. Right, so the file name becomes chapter 1 practicas, and then the first variable name is str1. Let us call it as Python space. There is no need for semicolon at the end or something like that. Python is very easy. And str2 Python, let us say is easy. Okay, is easy. Then let us print print print, and then let us say str1 plus str2. That means I'm combining str1 and str2. Suppose this is the code that I want to write, and I can click this run button. Okay, run button, and click it. So the output is Python is easy. That is the combination of the two strings together. So in this way you can do the Python programming. Okay, let us go back to the slide. Now you can have multi-string. You can create multiple strings by adding slash at the end. So this one is multiple string. So this one, the first string, this is a multi-line text. Because of this slash n, the the new line here will come to the new line. Okay, you can also create with three single quotes. Here is another multi-line string. So we are printing the first string as well as the second string. I'll not demonstrate this anymore. I just demonstrate the first one. So I hope you understand. Multi-line string can be created using slash with double quote as well as triple single quote. Okay, triple single quote. So it can be created use it triple single quotes can also create multi-line string. Now let's go to the next one, integer literals. So integer an integer constant or a literal must have a digit or a number, and it cannot contain any decimal point. Dot, it cannot contain dot. It may be plus or it may be minus, and commas cannot be appear in literal. For example, decimal normal number system like 9, 7, minus 5, etc. are all integers, and octal number will start with 0 followed by 0 followed by the letter O, small letter O. Okay, octal. And hexadecimal number will be preceded by 0 and the letter X. For example, 0 and X. Any number starting with 0 and X will be hexadecimal number in Python. Any number starting with 0 and the letter O will be octal number. Okay, please try to remember it. Now let's go to literal integer example. Here I'm assigning a to 7 and b to 3 minus 3. So I'm printing the value of a and b. Value of a is 7, value of b is minus 3, and octal number 0053. 0053. So the value of octal number is 43. Even though here it is written 53. 53 in octal number is equal to 43 in our normal number. So hexa OX A. So I'm printing A, but A is equal to 10. So this one is 53. 53 is equal to 43 in normal number. A is equal to 10 in normal number. This is example of integers. Alright, now let's try to finish the literals, okay, the floating point numbers. So floating point literals are also known as real literals. Okay, real literals are those number having fractional parts or a number with decimal point. Okay, a number with decimal point. It can be positive as well as it can be negative. They may be written in fractional form or exponential form. Let me show you the floating point number in fractional form. A literal in fractional form consists of a signed and unsigned digit including decimal point. For example, x equal to 1.10, y equal to 7.0, and z equal to minus 35.59. All these are floating point numbers. So when you want to print the type of the numbers, you can say type x. The type of x is float. The type of y is also float. The type of z is also float. So this is the fractional form. We also have exponential form. The exponential form will have mantissa part and the exponent part, and in between you will have the letter capital letter E or the letter small letter e. For example, here 35e3. 35e3. The meaning of this is 35 into 10 to the power 3. Okay, here 12e4. That means 12 into 10 to the power 4. And minus 87 point minus 87.7 e 10 to the power 100. Okay, all these are floats. All these are floating point numbers. Alright, we also have Boolean literals. Boolean literal in Python is used to represent one or more one one of the true Boolean value. The true Boolean value can be true or false. Okay, remember, true means T capital, false means F capital. If you have written in small letter, it will not be accepted as true or false. So when you say if print 10 is greater than 9, yeah, this is true. 10 is greater than 9. If you say 10 equal to 9, false. If you say 10 less than 9, this is also false. This is Boolean literals. And lastly, the special literal, which is known as none. None means nothing. It indicates the absence of the value, including 0. Okay, the value is totally absent. Okay, so value equal to none. So when you print the value, you'll get none. All right. Do you have any question on this? Please feel free to ask me anytime in my WhatsApp number. I hope you have my WhatsApp number.